Do you know Linda Stermer? How did you know Linda Stermer?
We met through our children.
How did your children spend time together?
My daughter was a cheerleader and her son played football.
So they went to school together.
They did.
And was there a time that you worked with Linda Stermer?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was, when you started working with her?
Roughly June of '06.
Had you been working there prior?
No.
Did you both start on the same day?
We did. We interviewed and started on the same day.
And what place of employment are we talking about?
Chemlink, that was first located in Kalamazoo and then moved to Schoolcraft.
And how well did you know her before you started working together?
I'd only known her for a few months.
So it was really just more through your children?
Well, once we started talking, we hit it off pretty well. We were friends.
Did you have some common interests?
Besides the kids, horses, we went to auctions together. We bought a lot of furniture. I refinished old furniture, so we went to the auctions and bought old furniture.
And you said something with horses. Did you do
She
something?
had horses. My daughter was horse crazy, so we spent time there for my daughter to be able to ride and things.
Did you go any horse shows or pick up horses or anything like that with her?
No, I didn't have much to do with that part of it.
So you started working on the same day. Did you end up carpooling together to go to work?
We did.
Did you
Because
start that right?
we both lived in Lawrence, and it was quite a drive to Kalamazoo.
Did you start that right away?
Yes,
So as soon as you got the job?
pretty much, yes.
So that would have been June of about 2006, you said.
Yes,
Did you guys get close as you were spending time together?
yes,
And did you talk a lot in the car?
yes,
Did you talk about Linda's marriage?
yes.
What did she tell you about her marriage?
She told me that her husband was abusive to her. She was very unhappy in her marriage.
Did she say she wanted out of the marriage?
Yes, she said she wanted out of the marriage.
Did you see any evidence of any physical abuse on Ms. Stermer at all?
Not once, not ever.
At some point, did she talk to you about Chris Williams?
She did.
And what did she tell you about Chris Williams?
They were having a relationship.
Do you know when that started?
I am not sure. I don't know how long after it started before she talked to me about it.
Was it shortly after you started working there?
It was at least a couple of months.
And what did she say about Chris Williams?
That he was extremely important to her.
How did she describe her feelings for him?
She wanted to be with him.
Do you recall ever overhearing any conversations between her and Mr. Williams?
Yes, they talked pretty much every night on the way home on the phone.
In your car?
She usually drove.
So she talked as you guys were driving back and forth?
Yes,
Did she say if this relationship was sexual?
she did.
What'd she say about it?
She said it was the best lover she ever had.
Your Honor, it's what the defendant said. She's describing her relationship.
Still relevance.
I find it relevant.
And it's
As
showing
opposed
she's
to-
gone on examination under oath
Oh,
saying
well,
she is, thank you, Your Honor. So she said that he was the best lover she ever had.
Yes,
Did you know where Mr. Williams lived?
I had occasion to go there with Linda. I never went inside the house, but I did sit in the car while she went inside after work a few times.
How long were you sitting outside?
Half hour, 45 minutes.
Did she say what she was doing inside?
It seemed implied. I didn't ask.
And she told you that's Chris's house?
Yes.
At some point, did the police contact you about Mr. Williams?
About him,
Or ask you about him?
when I talked to them, yes.
Did you tell them where Mr. Williams lived?
I believe so.
Were you aware of any phones that Linda had?
Yes.
And what did she have in terms of phones? that
She
you
had
saw?
one phone that was the phone that her family knew about and another phone that they didn't.
And how did you know that the family didn't know about that phone?
Because she told me that.
Did she tell you where she kept it?
Sometimes she left it at my house, and sometimes she told me she had found a spot underneath the dash in her Blazer where she could put the phone.
Did you hear her talking on that phone?
Yes.
And who was she talking to?
Chris.
I want you to think about an incident at Thanksgiving prior to the fire. Did you call the police?
I did. That was in 2006.
So just a little less than 2 months before the fire, correct? If I told you the fire was
Yes,
January 7th
yes.
of 2007? And can you tell the jury then why you called the police?
I called the police because she called me hysterical and said that she had a gun and wanted me to give her one good reason not to shoot him.
Not to shoot him?
Not to shoot Todd. And I did my best to calm her down, but at the end of the conversation, I still wasn't comfortable that things had calmed down, and so I called the police.
Did you know she had a gun prior to that?
I didn't. I'd never seen a gun.
Had she ever talked about shooting him before that?
She talked about various ways that she had thought about getting rid of him.
What did she say to you?
She talked about shooting him. She talked about running over him with her car, poisoning him.
And she talked about all this with you.
Yes.
And why was she talking about this? I'll rephrase.
Yep, sustained.
What was the context of that conversation?
Generally, it was when she was talking about how unhappy she was in her marriage.
Did she ever talk to you about Todd being suspicious of her?
Not until late in 06. It was late in 06. She said that she felt like he was getting suspicious.
She talked to you about a post office box?
Yes, I actually went with her when she opened that post office box.
Why? What was...
Because she had credit cards and phone bills and things that Todd didn't know about, and she had the bills sent to the post office box so that he didn't see them.
And you went to that post office box?
I did. There were several occasions when I went and got the mail out for her and gave it to her.
So you actually picked it up for her?
Yes.
What was your relationship with Todd Stermer, if any?
From from when our friendship started, she had told me that he was jealous of the time that we spent together and that he didn't like me, so I didn't have contact with Todd.
And that was because of what she said to you?
Yes.
After the fire, did you talk to her about the fire?
I asked her about it. She told me that her attorney had advised her not to discuss it.
So you didn't have any conversations
We
with her
did
about
not,
it?
no.
Did she ever say anything about Todd being run over by a van?
She did.
What'd she say?
She told me that she had run over him with the van.
Did she tell you why?
No. Well, she said it was smoky and she didn't see him, that he had run out of the house, and she was trying to get in the van to go for help.
Had you talked to Kathy Ilg about any concerns you had?
Yes. I told her I felt like I needed to speak to the police, but there was so much sympathy for her at work at that point after the fire that I didn't feel like I could go to them directly.
So you didn't want to go directly?
No, I didn't want anyone to know that I had contacted them because it would have made my life really hard at my job.
After the fire, did Ms. Stermer ever give you her locker keys from work?
She took some time off after the fire, and she said there were things in her locker that she needed me to take out for her.
Do you recall what those items were?
I never looked at them. It was just a bag of stuff that was in the locker.
And then where did you take those?
I took them home with me.
Were you able to give them back to her?
Eventually, initially they had been set on top of a trunk in my house. Someone had opened it at some point and the bag had fallen behind it and I couldn't find them. And she was very angry.
What was she saying to you?
She accused me of stealing them or keeping them intentionally.
Were these paper items or were they items?
It felt like a bag of mail.
Eventually, did you find those items?
I did.
Did you give them back to her?
I did.
Did you store anything at your house for her?
Like I said, occasionally the phone, before the post office, sometimes bills, phone bills.
When you talked to deputies about Mr. Chris Williams, were you able to describe his vehicle?
Yes.
And you also then knew his address?
Well, I didn't know the exact address, but I knew how to get there. I'm not very good with streets in Kalamazoo.
So you just told them the location?
Basically, yes.
Did Linda ever ask you to lie for her when she was with Chris?
Like I said, I had no contact with Todd, so no.
Did you ever have any further conversations about what happened on the fire, the day of the fire, or about her running him over?
No, I'm pretty sure she only told me that the one time. And honestly, I didn't want to know.
Did Linda call you a few days after the fire and ask you to go out to the scene?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how long it was. It was shortly after the fire. She called me. It was late at night. It was pouring rain, and she said she needed me to bring a flashlight and come out to the house because there was a coffee cup in the dishwasher that had not been run, and she needed to find that cup because it had tranquilizer in it, and she didn't want the investigators to locate it.
At some point, did your relationship start to dissolve?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury why your relationship started to dissolve?
I had loaned her $5,000 because she told me that her mortgage was about to default and she was going to lose her house. And I had gotten paperwork in the mail for a signature loan for $5,000. So she asked me if she could borrow the money and said that she would make the payments on it and that it would help build my credit. So I did. I took the check, I signed it, I went to my bank, I deposited it, and I had a bank draft drawn up to Linda Stermer for the $5,000.
So you gave her then the entire $5,000?
I did.
And this was a loan in your name?
Yes.
And you did it why?
I didn't want her to lose her house.
And are you talking about the house that had burned, or are you
Yes.
talking about it? Okay. But it was your understanding she needed this money to keep that
Yes.
and keep the property,
Yes.
is that right? Okay. And once you gave her the money, it was your understanding she was going to make payments.
Yes.
And did that occur?
No.
How did you find that out?
Several months later, one of the bills came, because I hadn't even been opening them. I was just giving them to her. A bill came and it said final notice, so I opened it and realized that not one single payment had been made.
And
So-
again, this was just in your name.
Yes.
So what did you do once you found this information out?
I confronted her at work,
And where did you confront her at work at?
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom? And tell me what happened during that conversation.
She looked me in the eye and said she never borrowed money from me.
And what did you do?
I was angry. I yelled. I was very verbally abusive. I was very angry.
Because now you had to pay that $5,000 back.
Yes.
And what did Ms. Stermer do then when you became angry with her?
She said a couple of things before she walked out of the bathroom, like, stop touching me, get away from me. And then she went out of the bathroom, and I followed her into the hallway and continued basically yelling at her.
Did you both get in trouble at work?
No,
You didn't get in any trouble?
no,
Was that the last time you talked to her?
that would probably
Any substantial conversations after that?
not that I recall.
Did she ever pay you back?
No.
Who's Steve Benny?
My brother.
When was the last time you had a conversation with your brother?
My mom's funeral in 2001, until I introduced him to Linda in 2007.
And then you introduced him to Linda?
Yes. He had property and she needed a place for her horses to stay.
So you connected the two of them?
So I connected the two of them so they could make that happen.
Did you talk to your brother anytime after that?
No,
Have you seen him?
no.
Now
Only
you're
at
gonna-
funerals, and we don't have conversation.
So from 2001 to 2007, there was one conversation about connecting him with Linda?
Basically, my brother and I have never been close.
Anything else that Ms. Stermer told you over the course of your friendship about either the house or her relationship or Chris Williams that I failed to ask you about?
I don't think so.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello.
I just want to get a couple housekeeping things done from what a prior witness said. You and Linda, as I understand it, you started at ChemLink on the same day, June 5, 2006, sound right?
That sounds right. Sometime in that area.
Linda helped you get the job, right?
Yes.
You two worked the second shift?
Yes.
Right. I used to work in a factory once. Would second shift be 3 to 11?
Yes.
And Chris Williams, he worked the first shift, am I right?
Yes, he did.
What would the first shift be?
7 to 3.
Okay. He was a truck driver. Do you know whether he was in the same building as you
It was all one building.
in Schoolcraft?
Yes.
But he'd be leaving as you were coming on, correct?
Yes.
And you and Linda became almost like best friends, am I right?
I thought so.
All right.